Cash versus trash, people. This is a series where we investigate whether you should spend the cash
on an absolutely mad car like this Suzuki Swift Sport, or a piece of utter shite like this
or
Peugeot.
use trash to save a whole lot of money and have just as much fun. We've been on the outside of the cars doing suspension and wheels and other cool stuff. Now we're moving to the inside.
The cars are looking fantastic,
Wouldn't
you agree?
What are you talking about?
One of them is anyway.
This is like a yellow rice bubble looking thing with a black eye.
What do you mean a black eye?
Look at it. That light is black and that one's not. Have you not
Bullshit,
noticed?
is it really?
Yes. Have you not noticed ever?
I've not noticed. You're right. That's actually different. But you're just trying to get our attention off the fact that your lower moustache is leaking and hanging off sideways. Look at it. It's actually dangling down like a big flap.
You're talking about me or the car?
The car, dude.
Oh, right.
The front moustache bit
it's a bit wonky.
has got juice coming out of here, dirty juice, and that's hanging off.
That's all smashed
And
too.
Martin, why has it got a boot mark on it? Someone's been kicking it.
Not me.
And look at this.
Don't worry about it.
It looks like it's been attacked
amazing.
by
It's
a
gonna
ball.
be amazing.
Martin, we're moving on to the inside.
We are.
But word's got out that your car's garbage.
What do you
know
mean?
how word got out?
What do you mean?
Because we showed it on the internet.
It's so smelly, man.
It's actually disgustingly stinky.
Stinks.
But I've got a gift. This here is some Novak. They're not sponsoring this video, but WD-40 did bring this down. It's carpet and fabric sanitizer and deodorant, foaming and antibacterial. It kills 99.9% germs. What do?
It says it's for pet beds.
It can be pet beds. You spray it on your car, and then it neutralizes, it kills the germs and deodorant, it penetrates, and it does not contain any bleaching agents or aggressive solvents. There it is.
Can we set that off in my car like
We
a
set
bug
that
bomb?
off in your car, just gaffer tape it
Whoa.
on.
It's like snow.
Actually, we've played this game before, haven't we?
I'm not going to get you, but look.
So basically, this here goes in here.
Let me get that out.
No, it's too late. It's all over. There he goes. Look at that. I'm even doing the windscreen. If you end up using this at home, please use it as per the instructions.
In the back.
You've probably got to shake it first.
Do the back here.
Oh, it reeks, dude. It's just absolutely...
Don't do the back.
What happened in this car? That's what we all want to know. I'm doing the door cards. Anyway, there it is. Martin.
That's going to be a marked improvement, I'd say.
Today...
Ease up. Twisted.
Today...
Dude, no, come on. No, don't do it again. Don't do it again.
I'm just kidding. I love this car. Today, one of the most important aspects of getting your car ready for the track is to bolster yourself up, support yourself, snuggle in with a seat.
This smells pretty good.
It actually smells excellent.
Vanilla and orchid.
Martin here.
Oh, it just needs more. Needs the whole can. I can still smell the grot.
Martin here, it turns out you can't make a seat out of trash, but you can buy someone else's trash. Meanwhile, me, straight to Japan. Import monster again. Overnight parts from Japan. Martin, do you want to show your seat or should I show mine?
No, I want to show my seat. Check this out. So, I actually, due to the awesomeness of Mighty Car Mods fans, I got an email saying, do you need seats? Because I was complaining about how rubbish the seats were.
Yes.
I got an email saying, do you need seats? I said, absolutely I do. And this dude said, hey, I had a Peugeot GTI, I think 180 is the good one. Not
180?
Yeah, like a 180.
Yes!
He has a Peugeot GTI 1 bot, and he had seats because he was going to put them in his car because his seats were rubbish too, and then he crashed his car.
Oh, no.
So he said, do you want my seats? And I said, yep. I said, how much do you want from me? He said,
show us your seat, Martin. Don't tell us the price.
one of the best bang for buck upgrades you can do on your car is an upgraded seat, and particularly an upgraded factory seat where you're using a seat from a better or higher end model and using it in your base model. So the benefit is this thing will bolt straight into that chassis. It retains all the sliders and the adjustability, and in this case airbags and everything, and it will just plug in. It's a very common mod to do in Subaru land as well, where you can do with WRX seats and other things. What's good about it, it's got a lot of shoulder support, it's got a lot of support here at the bottom, but it still retains all the two-door stuff of being able to get in the back of the car, which is awesome too. Now, is it going to be as good as a race seat? Well, I guess we'll find out, but I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. Now, notably, it is covered in hair. That is cat hair because the guy that owned these seats who then crashed his car just left them and stored them for a while. Maybe he's going to get another Peugeot, who knows. And his cat decided that it would make a bed on there. In fact, it was his dad's cat, and they watched Mighty Carmels together for like the last decade. And the cat's name was Bella. So I'm giving Bella a shout out. Rest in peace, Bella. You're an awesome cat, apparently. And thanks to those fellas, I have an awesome pair of Peugeot 206 GTI one-bot seats.
Meanwhile, of course, I've been back to Japan for a little hello. Thanks to Import Monster, I have got myself, look at this, everybody. Look what's in here. This is a Bride Zeta 4 Lomax fixed back bucket seat in the iconic like 90s design. These have been like winning races since like 1990. Obviously people get fake versions of these. They're like $300 or $400 off eBay. This is legit. How do I know? It came from Japan. This here is one of the most iconic seats of all time and the kind of seat that people actually use to win races.
Brid Seats, or Bride as they're mostly pronounced in Australia, produces high quality seats and rails in Japan, and they're the first seats from Japan to be licensed by the FIA, which means they can be used in international racing. The seat shells are made by hand with a single integral moulding to increase fracture strength. The seat covers are then cut out and sewed and finished by hand. Then the shell, seat cover, cushions and other components are assembled again by hand before being inspected and then safety certified with stickers and a compliance certificate. No, your $299 eBay fake seats did not go through this process.
My seats came from Wollongong from a guy called Matt with a hat with a cat called Bella who sat on this seat for a very long time. And my friend here has got himself a Japanese bride.
Correct, Martin.
It's a bride from Japan.
From Japan. It's
Yes.
legit. It's not a fake one off the internet.
We need to talk about money.
It's a real one. We need to talk about money, Martin. Now, there's
tell
been
them
a
the
little
price,
bit
son.
of disparity in some of the costs so far.
This one's big.
This is going to be big. Why don't you tell us? Do you want to? How much was your seat, Martin?
$50 a seat. I paid $100 for both seats.
That's a very good deal.
Yep. But also, who else wants Peugeot seats? Like, not that many people.
No one.
No one.
So in the next part of the video, now we're going to weigh them.
No, we need to talk about the price of yours.
No, because I think we weigh them. Yours looks way heavier than mine.
That doesn't matter. We need to talk about money. That's what this bit is. People are waiting to hear what you paid for your cash
I
versus my
actually
trash.
can't remember what it was exactly.
Just tell them.
It was like $500, I think.
No, because mine were $50. They are way more than $500. Maybe fake ones would be $500. I know they're more than that.
With rails, imported from Japan.
Actually, with the rails?
Yeah, the rails are custom made for my car from Bride in Japan.
Okay.
With the rails, it's just a little bit, a little bit over $5,000.
$5,000 for a pair of seats. Isn't that nearly what your car cost?
Yes. I think the seats are $4,700. I think the rails like $550. It's a bit over $5,000. Like I was saying.
Okay. Hey, man, that's what this is about. I mean, it's...
Look, we're going to have an expert here soon who will tell you why you should probably never buy this seat and only buy this seat.
And spend...
But before they get here...
Is that 100
I think what's important...
Is that 100 times more?
Is that there weighs nothing, and this here, I can't even lift it up.
You can lift that, dude.
I can't.
Whatever.
You try and lift it up.
You got your foot on it.
Oh, do I? Oh, there you go. We got some scales over here. Let's weigh them and see what the weight difference
It's
is.
so heavy. I can't barely lift it up.
Watch your back there, mate. Here you go, mate.
It's not exactly
There
light,
you
is
go,
it?
mate.
But it is a very high-end looking seat.
All right, Martin, you are coming in at 22 kilos.
22 kilos. It's one of the heavier stock seats that I've seen. It's also from a hatchback / coupe thing, so you've got to have the folding mechanism.
And at
But it's
least
a lot-
1 kilo of cat hair on there.
Easily, but there's a lot going on. Like it's a big seat for a factory seat, so it doesn't surprise me that it's that heavy, but that is
I'm going to see
significant.
if I can pick mine up with one finger,
You actually
which
can.
I can. And mine's coming in at
Whoa!
7 kilos. So wait on, across 2 seats, wait on, let me do some maths. Is that like 12 kilos? You're adding 25 kilos?
Well, compared to your seat, it depends what the current one weighs. Because what I might get is I might not go up or down in weight. It might weigh the same, but I get a better seat.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm adding
that's
weight,
true.
but I get a better seat, and that's not good.
But your car's already lighter. So anyway, that's what we reckon. Now it's probably time to bring in our expert, somebody who actually has a career going fast in cars. Seats are important. It's time to bring him in and see what he thinks about my mad seat and Marty's shit seat.
My awesome seat.
For this episode of Cash vs Trash, our expert is Josh Buchan. How you doing, Josh?
Good, mate.
So he is a race car driver, the Hyundai driver for the TCR Super Cheap Auto Series. He spends his life, his actual career, is to sit in a seat and go fast.
There's a bit more to it than that, as I understand it.
Yeah, it is more than just sitting in a seat, as my teachers in school never used to like to tell me. But yes, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to the seat rather than just sitting in it. So it's a pretty big topic to cover.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do then every day? You get in cars and drive fast and win events.
Yeah, well, more or less. I try and win. It doesn't always go like that. So yeah, there's several races through the year, usually about a dozen for my schedule. And then within that is Super Cheap Auto TCR, and then there's also some other activities, so some historic racing in some old Formula cars, like F1 style cars, and sort of everything in between that you can think of. Basically, if you've got a car, you don't want to drive it, you'd like to go fast, I put my hand up and jump in.
So, being that we are talking about seats, where does that come into it? How do you feel about it? What's some pointers?
Man, it's such a big topic. Like, I wish this video is 45 minutes long. I don't have the time to cover everything, but from the outset, where you sit in the car, not only on the track but on the road every day, is your base for your driving. It starts there. So much is kind of covered with your seat position, how you look, how you hold the wheel, how you brace yourself, more importantly, through a corner. It's all covered with your seat position, and importantly, as you start to go faster and faster, what sort of style seat you're in.
So if we're talking about the style of seat then, can we use either of these seats for like proper professional racing?
No,
Okay.
not for what I would consider a professional category. So to eliminate a few things as to why. Number one, cat hair wouldn't pass the regs at scrutineering. I don't know why, but it's considered uncouth.
The burn, this is a high five coming
Dude,
in.
this isn't a burn.
What do you mean?
We are honouring that cat.
What cat?
Because that cat sat on this chair, as this chair sat in the guy's house for the whole time he had it, and the cat like owned it, and they really liked their cat.
Okay,
So I'm leaving the cat hair on it
okay,
Okay.
in honour of the cat.
We'll cross that bridge when we
in
get
honour
to
of
it.
Muffy.
Muffy.
okay.
That's another topic again.
Good. All right. So obviously,
It's about just the money, dude. It's about the sentimentality. It's about the meaning. It's about the thoughtfulness. This cat is going to make me win.
how much meaningfulness and thoughtfulness goes into winning a race? Isn't winning?
Probably more than sentimental value. I think that goes out the window when you're designing a $500,000 race car.
Fair enough.
All right. So I probably should clarify right now that Cash vs Trash, we can't make a seat out of trash. Well, you can, but you don't want to make your own seat out of trash. We could have got my $5,000 set of brides here, and then we could have got some. We could have got some fake seats off eBay or otherwise. The problem with that is, what are you buying?
don't know
Do you
what you're
actually
buying.
know? At least this is a proper Peugeot Bro seat, right?
Exactly, and I think that's the reason I went towards this. Not only were they dirt cheap, it's also the fact that I knew exactly what I was getting. Because so much of the second-hand market is flooded with stuff that's reps, and if you want reps and you're happy with reps, that's fine. I just don't like the idea that you may be sitting on balsa wood. They might look awesome. They might say Recaro or Brit or whatever it is along its front.
They might look exactly
They
the
might
same
look
as this.
exactly, and some of the reps look really, really good, and it's just that you don't know exactly what you're buying. And you know what, if you're just cruising around, maybe that's fine. If you are on a racetrack, I think I'd rather something that Peugeot put some time and money into, even though it's not that.
So let's then now compare what we've got here. So we've got, this is the Bride Lomax, $2,500 for that one. FIA approved. We've got a Peugeot seat that's worth $50.
Out of a GTI.
From your racing brain, can you just let us know what considerations we've got comparing these two actual examples?
So first and foremost, pretty easy one to see visually is the depth of the seat, and that's your hip bolstering straight away. So your hips and how tight you are into the seat will determine how much you move around, obviously. It's not so much your upper body. So first and foremost, you look at that and you go, okay, this is going to give me more support. It's also got provisions for your harness, so you can actually run a proper seat belt as well. So straight off the bat, you're looking at that. Also, it's nice and carbon fibery, which is cool. So that's also obviously strength, lightweight too, which I think is quite important with what you guys are doing. So you look at that, but at the same time, this is a really good looking seat. I mean, this for a factory Peugeot GTI seat looks really good.
Especially compared to what the car comes with, and it bolts straight in. So no extra rails required, no nothing. Use all the bolts, and it's also like fully set up for that car and that chassis.
Yeah, and you would consider this a bucket seat for a road car.
Yeah.
I mean, and the bolsters, even cat hair and 20 years of work.
Yep.
They're, as it falls off.
And actually, unlike,
they're in
you've
good
also
nick.
got shoulder bolstering, which is a little bit unusual for, especially for like a cheaper hatchback thing.
Yeah.
To have all this going on up here as well.
Yeah, no, super cool. So in saying all of that, this is probably as good as you're going to get for a road car.
Well done, Martin. That's a good buy.
It's a mad
That's
score.
actually a properly good buy. Is this a good buy?
Yes, this is an amazing seat. It's real bride, unlike most 180SXs on the road that have, fake inserted stitching.
Yep.
So it's very, very cool.
Yep.
Justifying the value, that's a personal thing. If you're going to take it seriously, I think you do need to go in that direction.
Right.
Just for your own safety.
Oh, I'm taking it seriously.
Yeah, I can tell.
But at the moment, going around Luddenham, I'm 1 second faster. Here's the question that probably doesn't have an answer. If I drove around Luddenham in this, and then we installed that into the same car, same driver, same day, same whatever, do you think there's any way of quantifying how much faster or slower a seat would be? Is there even an answer?
There is kind of. It's controversial. Get a professional driver in the car, it won't make a difference. If you get an amateur driver in the car who needs kind of every bit of help they can get in terms
That's
of,
us.
Depth perception and all that sort of thing, it has made a difference on the stopwatch. So when you're strapped into a car and you're really tight in the seat,
I'm strapped in.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Picture strapped. You're in. When you turn a corner, if you're using the right technique, you're just turning kind of towards that angle, 90 degrees on the steering wheel.
Yep.
If you're not strapped into the seat, if you're holding the wheel in the wrong position, and again, this goes back to
Or holding
pulse,
onto the wheel, right?
or bracing yourself too much, correct, you will actually start to turn your body into the corner as well, so that the G-forces don't push you away. When you're strapped in properly, that doesn't happen. It's all sort of elbows and wrists.
Yep.
It's not the body. So this is a sort of test I do. If you point your finger out in front of you, you close an eye, look at the tip of your finger, tilt your head, your finger's pointing in the completely wrong
Oh my gosh.
A long way. Like on a road,
my
that's
God.
like the other side of the road.
Okay.
World beating, right?
Whoa, no,
So-
that's trippy.
It's super exaggerated. Obviously, your finger's going to be pointing at a different spot. But when you're doing 150, 200, 250, for those real...
The world's coming at you fast.
The world's coming at you quick. That can make a difference. That can really change what you think you're looking at. So, long-winded answer, but effectively, that's what being strapped into a proper seat with belts, all the rest of it can potentially.
And we often do say we're being thrown out of the seat, and it does change how you're driving. And it's also more fatiguing.
Mate, thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
Josh Buchan, TCR driver for Hyundai, the Super Cheap Auto Series. We actually have a second bonus video on MCM TV too, where Josh is going to show you how to set up a seat on your normal road car. Just a few quick tips, couple of minutes, show you how to set that up. So check that out. But in the meantime, Martin, it's time to install these in our cars.
After teasing Marty about how filthy his Peugeot Bro is, it turns out that my Suzuki is full of dog hair and human hair. If you want to take yourself on a wild journey of discovery of new ecosystems, remove one of your seats and have a look underneath. Or don't. Unlike Marty, who's adding weight to his car with his marketplace bargains, I'm getting a huge weight reduction with my fixed backs. To make these fit, seat rails have been custom made in Japan and specifically for my car. Then it's just a matter of Legoing it all together. The passenger seat is in and it looks absolutely incredible. Now it's time to move on to the driver's side. If you're playing around with anything to do with seats, seatbelts, airbags, or other safety systems in your car, make sure you check with a qualified mechanic or engineer if you don't know what you're doing.
The seats are in, they look absolutely awesome, they feel incredible as well, so now it's time to put Marty's new seats in his garbage Peugeot.
This garbage is going to be way easier to drive fast with more supportive seats. The interior of the car is absolutely grot, but I'll solve that later by removing most of it. For now, I just want to make sure these mad seats actually fit. Because they are from another Peugeot Bro, the bolts that hold them in are identical, meaning no messing with seat rails, no confusing instructions or finicky setup process. Just unwizz the stupid Torx bolts, rip out the original Turdberger seats, and install these mad new cat fur flavoured chairs of winning.
What I think's hilarious is that some people in the comments, and even Marty, seem to think that Australia's cheapest Peugeot has the slightest chance of winning against the iconic Swift Sport out of Japan, which has real race-winning pedigree. I get that these seats were cheap, but they're not going to fix the biggest problem with this car. Do you know what the biggest problem with this car is? It's a Peugeot. The aftermarket seats have been installed in my Swift. They not only look incredible, but I've got that excellent weight reduction, plus all of that support and bolstering to keep me in when I'm chopping Peugeots on the track.
They do look absolutely incredible, and they kind of update the interior and make it look a little bit fancy. We also know that these are genuine quality seats. Be careful of reps out there. Make sure you get what you're paying for. Speaking of getting value for what you're paying for, the other way to do it is with a factory upgrade. And I think even though I've paid a bit of a weight penalty for how easy these were to put in, literally 4 bolts out, 4 bolts back in again, they fit, the seat belts are the same, everything just goes straight in. And also the biggest upgrade is the side bolstering, which I just had none of before.
Dude,
so even though these are filthy and covered in cat fur, rip Bella, these I think are actually excellent in this case.
It's really important to note, of course, when you're playing around with seats and seat belts, they are safety items in a car, so make sure you get someone qualified to check it. That's what we're going to do with ours. You don't want to be messing around with that stuff if you don't know what you're doing. And also, it is a really important point, if you're buying fake replica stuff off eBay Marketplace or whatever, if the seat says it's $200 and you know they're actually costing thousands of dollars, they're probably fake, particularly if they are brand new. It is a safety item, so it's not something that you want to skimp on. Martin,
in this case,
speaking of skimping,
we have to decide.
Cash versus trash, of course. Look, the racetrack is going to be the real decider of that.
Absolutely.
But right now, do you put $5,000 seats in your $7,000 car? Or do you put mad GTI seats in?
Yeah, for $50.
I reckon in this case it's trash, dude.
You can't argue with the value. But we might hit a point as well when it comes to when you start looking at harnesses and cages. And if you go nuts,
yes,
you have to have those kind of seats. But for this level and the level we're at,
I think that's the important thing. If you go on full track car race mode, absolutely spend the money.
All day.
For a street-driven but trackable car, I reckon you've got it, man.
What do you reckon? Tell us.
What do you reckon? Let us know down below.
Or trash.
We hope you've been enjoying these videos of this new series. We've really, really enjoyed making it. There's some battles on the horizon. Can you smell that? That's the low tide stench of the Peugeot.
Oh, no, that's the low tide stench
that's about to get chopped by the Peugeot sponge. Why is it a sponge? Because it's going to soak up the losses of the Peugeot and spit them out in Marty's face. Isn't it?
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've completely lost my appetite, but we should go and have some lunch. I'm very keen to drive this now. Yep. Bit of testing to do, bit of driving.
You've added some weight, so coming up, we're going to be removing some. All right, that's Cash vs. Trash. See you next time.